Welcome, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for this explainer. Today, we're pointing our spotlight at, honestly, the ultimate mystery of our own planet. We're talking about what actually lurks in the unexplored, lightless depths of the ocean trenches. We are going to examine this fascinating intersection where hard science, verified extinction, and some genuinely chilling nautical rumors all collide. We're looking at an environment so vast and so alien that it continually forces us to just completely rewrite the textbooks.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's the massive question that drives today's entire explainer. What actually lurks in that 75% of the global seafloor we haven't mapped at high resolution, right? On one hand, we've got strict biological extinction. We have the fossil record telling us firmly that certain apex predators are gone forever. But on the other hand, we have these enduring, chilling rumors and unexplained encounters from the abyss that just won't die. So we have to ask, how much of what we dismiss as pure myth might actually just be hiding in plain sight?
Section 1. Giants that cannot hide. Why the biggest myths fail the science test.
We've got to start with the absolute most famous rumored survivors of the deep, the megalodon and the mosasaur. The hard truth? Biology absolutely forbids their survival down there. Think about their biological needs for a second. Megalodon was a warm coastal water hunter. It relied on the massive calorie density of marine mammals to survive. And mosasaurs? They were marine reptiles that literally had to surface to breathe air. Now compare that to the reality of the Hidal zone. The deep ocean trenches are freezing cold, they completely lack those massive prey bases, and they offer zero access to the atmosphere. It's a complete mismatch.
The paleontological consensus here is completely unambiguous. A megalodon in the Mariana Trench would simply starve to death. The mathematics of caloric intake at those immense depths just do not work. Plus, an air-breathing megapredator like a mosasaur, it would be highly visible at the surface, sharing the exact same shipping lanes as our modern container ships. They simply cannot hide in the abyss. So, the case is closed on these specific giants. But, that doesn't mean the deep isn't hiding other, equally terrifying things.
Section 2. Fossils missing their bodies. The terrifying predators with missing pieces.
So, the crucial point is, this is where things get genuinely unsettling. We're moving from complete fossils to bizarre anomalies. We are looking at terrifying ancient predators, where science has recovered their fossilized weapons, but absolutely no complete bodies. Take Helicoprion, for example. We know for a fact it existed because we found these 25-centimeter spiral tooth whorls, literally a biological circular saw. But because its body was cartilaginous, a complete skeleton has never been found. We just have this massive weapon without an owner. What's absolutely fascinating is that its closest living relatives, the ratfish, actually survived a mass extinction by retreating to the deep ocean, where they still live today. Then consider Dunkleosteus. We have its heavily armored skull, and we know it had a bite force of 6,000 newtons. But recent science actually revised its length down to about 4 meters, meaning it wasn't some sleek pelagic cruiser, but a compact ambush predator built for structure and extreme pressure. If these heavily armored or deep-dwelling lineages survived their respective extinction events by going deeper, well, they'd be exactly where we aren't looking.
And then you've got the Basilosaurus. This was an Eocene whale living about 34 million years ago, featuring a long, serpentine body and a small head. Now, accepted science says it went totally extinct. But back in the 1960s, a zoologist cataloged over 500 historical sea serpent sightings. The descriptions of a many-humped sea serpent undulating horizontally perfectly matched the anatomy of the Basilosaurus. Even more remarkably, the sailors' sightings clustered in the exact same warm, pelagic geographical regions where the Basilosaurus used to live. It's this wild geographical and anatomical match that leaves a lingering, fascinating sliver of doubt.
Section 3. The verified living fossils. When extinction is just a lack of looking.
Now, what's really interesting about this is, if you think it's impossible for massive ancient lineages to hide in the ocean completely undetected by modern science, you just have to look at the Lazarus discoveries. For over a century, the absolute scientific consensus was that the heavy, lobed-finned coelacanth went extinct with the dinosaurs. The fossil record just completely stopped. Then, out of nowhere in 1938, a South African trawler captain pulls up his net and boom, there it is, a living coelacanth. A young museum curator named Marjorie Courtney Latimer recognized it, and it literally changed biology forever. And the story didn't even end there. Almost 60 years later, in 1997, a completely second species was found thousands of miles away in an Indonesian fish market.
66 million. I really want that number to just sink in for a second. That is the staggering gap in the fossil record where the coelacanth was entirely missing. It is the longest Lazarus gap in vertebrate history.
For 66 million years, no coelacanth fossil was left anywhere we could find it, and yet this 2-meter-long fish was happily surviving in coastal volcanic caves the whole time, completely unobserved by human science.
And you know, the coelacanth isn't alone here. The frilled shark has a 95-million-year-old lineage. It looks exactly like a Cretaceous sea serpent and has a mind-boggling 3.5-year gestation period, which is the longest of any vertebrate. We only confirmed it alive on video in 2007 when a dying one surfaced in Japan. And then there's the megamouth shark, a massive 4.5-meter filter feeder that literally no one knew existed until a U.S. Navy vessel accidentally tangled one in an anchor back in 1976. These verified living fossils prove that the deep ocean operates on geological timescales. It is actively hiding massive secrets in plain sight.
Section 4. Myths proven completely real. The Kraken and the true apex predators.
For literally centuries, sailors came back with these terrifying folklore stories that academics basically dismissed as drunkenness or hallucinations, until they were proven absolutely correct. 495 kilograms. That is the confirmed weight of a colossal squid discovered in 2007 by a New Zealand fishing vessel. For hundreds of years, sailors talked of the Kraken, this massive tentacled beast rising from the dark. Science said no way. But then, inside the stomachs of sperm whales, we kept finding these massive, unexplainable squid beaks. We didn't even get the first photos of a living giant squid until 2004. And the colossal squid? It's even bigger. It's an animal with eyes the size of dinner plates, perfectly evolved to capture tiny bioluminescent signals in the abyssal dark. The dominant life form in the deep ocean isn't a vertebrate at all. It's massive cephalopods that we still barely understand.
And speaking of whales, consider Leviathan. Discovered in fossil form in 2008, this was a 17-meter-long extinct sperm whale that actively hunted other whales. Now, modern sperm whales dive thousands of meters into the pitch black to hunt giant squids, right? And they use echolocation clicks measured at 230 decibels. Those are the loudest biological sounds on Earth, powerful enough to physically disorient their prey. The truly terrifying implication here is that if a macro-predatory whale lineage like Leviathan survived by adapting to the deep, it would hunt by sound, not sight. It could map the entire interior of a submarine with pulses of sound before humans even knew it was there.
Section 5. The ocean's unexplained echoes. Listening to the abyss.
While we might not have visual proof of everything down there, our modern hydrophone arrays are picking up signals we still cannot fully explain. Take these massive anomalies recorded by NOAA. In 1997, hydrophones picked up the bloop, a sound recorded 5,000 kilometers apart that initially perfectly matched the acoustic profile of a living biological creature, except it was several times louder than a blue whale. It was later reclassified as a likely icequake, but they never actually matched it to a specific iceberg. Then you have Julia, a 15-second unexplained roar, Upsweep, which is an ongoing seasonal signal, and Biotwang from 2014, a bizarre metallic call in the Mariana Trench that is only partially explained by minke whales. These partial explanations leave significant parts of these audio files completely open in an archive that is growing way faster than we can explain it.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why these mysteries persist. Only 25% of the global seafloor has been mapped at high resolution. The remaining 75% is known only through very coarse, low-resolution satellite estimates. It is a stunning, undeniable fact that we literally have better, more detailed maps of the surface of Mars than we do of our own planet's seafloor.
To put this all into perspective, the ocean holds nearly 1.3 billion cubic kilometers of volume. That is a near infinite, pitch-black, three-dimensional habitat. As we've seen today, it can completely hide a 2-meter coelacanth for 66 million years. We've seen it can hide a 495-kilogram colossal squid from all of human science until the 21st century. The sheer, staggering volume of this environment makes it entirely capable of hiding almost anything that is adapted to its immense pressures and its crushing darkness. I want to leave you with this incredibly chilling, provocative thought from the source material. The water continues. Whatever moves through it at depths we have not yet visited continues to move regardless of whether we know it is there. The archive of acoustic anomalies is wide open. The dark waters remain largely unexplored. What else is down there? Right now, swimming through that 75% of the map we haven't even drawn yet. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll see you next time.